Hello and welcome to India Today. I am Sanjay Ponappa.
And this is Maruti Acharya, and we just completed watching latest Telugu film which is streaming on OTT, which is Anaganaga. It is streaming on ETV Win.
Once upon a time.
Before getting into further details, Sanjay, your experience of watching the film.
I really liked the kind of feeling the film left me with. It was a wholehearted feeling.
Okay.
Right? The film, for me, it is about stories. The importance of stories, how you can use stories.
Correct.
The story of the film is all about stories and everything that can come from it.
Yes. For me, while watching the film, I personally really liked the film overall, but I felt like it is trying to be so many things, it is trying to tell so many things, and overall, if you look at the final product, it is just okay. But the topics that were discussed in the film, the themes, everything which is still important 20 years ago when I was a kid, these topics were still relevant. And imagine after 20 to 25 years of people are still talking about this, that means it is still a relevant, important, and a burning topic, I must say.
Which hasn't had any difference over time.
Exactly.
Unfortunately. I felt like this film had all the right ingredients in the making, especially the vision that they were seeing. The kind of impact that they wanted to make with a story like this is something that they have achieved by the overall product. That I can say for sure. Given the way people have been reacting to emotions lately, one example is the Tamil film Dragon,
Correct.
and the way just the emotion at the very end kind of turned around the whole perspective of the film.
Agreed.
There's a lot of other examples in recent times where people are kind of oscillating towards emotions and all of that finally.
Correct.
After going through a wave of all the RRRs and the Rocky Bais, KGFs, all of it.
So, what actually works in the film? Firstly, the topics that they have chosen, the way they have discussed it, it is really good and brilliant. There are examples. So, when we without giving much spoilers, when we take stories like this, right, there are three perspectives. One is from the perspective of parental expectations, parenting, what they expect from children and how children turns out, and how are you supposed to take care of your children. There are a lot of movies like that. Similarly, there is another perspective which is from the student perspective or a child perspective. How do you see, how do you understand what is right kind of learning, confusions, ADHD. There are a lot of emotional portions in the movie which talks also about how parents' expectations are set, how humiliation, schools, the pressure of exams,
Expectations
society,
from education. What
exactly. Everybody wants to be that banner child where my CGPA is great. So these kind of topics are there. But if you look at the sweet line where the major stakeholder in this entire drama is teachers, and if you look at stories that are told from teachers' perspective, I personally feel they are very, very less. Good Poet Society is one such movie that comes to my mind. It is special and it always stays with me because that is exactly what we want to do. I'm pretty sure we also had teachers where they don't treat subject as a subject. They try to tell a story. I had a social teacher in my 10th class.
We all have
one teacher in our
that.
life that is so relatable. He used to draw maps, draw everything on board and explain. That is why I think my geography is comparatively solid. So everybody will have that kind of teacher in our life. So this teacher's perspective,
Not maths.
not maths, yeah. Sorry, math teacher. Teacher's perspective is often, we keep teachers in a pedestal. It is good, but the kind of respect for teachers in schools that we had like 20, 30 years ago, if we look now, schools are mostly business. So the movie also subtly talks about how education has become business, how teachers join schools to do what and what they end up doing. So these kind of topics from teachers' perspective is something that is really fresh in the movie and I connected it with a lot.
But then this story is about that one teacher who is trying something different in order to get through to all the children.
Correct.
And that itself is a really good point to be speaking about. Along with that, the film also speaks about the current institutionalization. Like you said, the way everything is operating, and honestly, I don't even blame what the teachers.
Exactly.
It's just that there is a system and everybody is following it. There is one very important conversation that happens in the film in between where this question about the system is raised, and I felt like
Correct.
right, it's
Not a lot of people talk about
Yeah,
it, and it is important when the generation is changing, students are changing, syllabus is changing. If you still follow the orthodox roots and follow the same systems and patterns that have been followed for all these years, will that still make sense to children? It is a very important question.
and bringing it back to the perspective of the film, it's not even our protagonist who is bringing up that conversation.
Correct.
It is through realization. So you can see that there is some sort of an impact happening
Correct.
within the story as well. And
Yes.
that was, refreshing for me because it's not somebody's fight against the system. It's just purely about the children and their good.
And also the solutions that they were talking about using stories as a medium is not entirely applicable if you look at the larger picture, but that will definitely raise the question, the important question: are we thinking about the problems from the children's perspective? Totally happy with the film. Again, 90% of the people might not feel that, but I personally felt that way, Sanjay, because again, not to compare, the themes and topics are very different, but the treatment of the film is similar to Jersey. What Jersey achieved it perfectly is where Anaganaga actually struggles if you compare, because despite of the family angle, personal stakes, all of that is there, the core of Jersey is him being a cricketer, him achieving it. Everything else, what is Sarah going through, what is the requirement of the check, everything, it is the coating. The core of it is still cricket. Till the climax, it is about the cricket. But with Anaganaga, I personally feel like it starts with a very beautiful core, but in the second half, especially, it totally deviates into a personal man's tragedy or trajectory and where that is leading. So I personally felt that derailed a little too much, losing the essence of what the film actually stood for.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Even I felt like somewhere in between, I felt like, okay, this film is dragging a little too long. I thought it would end by now.
Correct.
That at any point, at that specific moment, is never a good thing for the film. Again, let me tell you that it did pull back by the end of the film. The climax was really solid. But there was a good portion, good chunk in the second half where I felt like, okay, why is this going on for so long?
Correct.
Because I felt like while in the first half, the topic of discussion was this one teacher who's trying to teach people in a different way.
Correct.
From there, it just changed into about this one teacher and
And
not
his
even
personal,
a teacher.
yeah.
After a point, it was about this man.
Correct.
So, and what he wants to do. I feel like they lost a bit of, the vision that they were going for in between, and then they brought it back up by the end in
Correct.
a medium way, somewhere in between. It's between the man and the teacher as well. They didn't really go back to being the teacher and the thought that he wanted to bring about, which I felt like pulled down the film a notch.
Yes, the movie, in terms of writing, there are misses here and there, but I personally felt like the treatment of the film, it has a very 1990s to 2005s, that kind of treatment and presentation, whether it is cinematography, music, staging, acting, editing, everything feels more like a theatre play.
At moments, it also touches towards being a daily soap that we've grown up watching.
Exactly, because it is on OTT, it is more like a, it is treated that way. I don't know, but
it is
it
on
personally.
ETV, so
So yeah, that could be a reason also to make it more palatable for larger audience. But it personally didn't work for me. I felt like because it is a movie, not a TV series, I wish they could have treated it much like a film rather than a TV series.
Yes. Talking about the performances, I felt like Suman did a really good job. He pulled off the role. You could see that calmness in his face. You could see that, oh, this could be my favorite teacher kind
Correct.
of vibe coming out of him. So I felt like he just fit well into the role.
Correct.
And delivered a very good job with what he had to do with his character, Vyaas sir.
Vyaas sir, it is a really good performance. But I personally felt Kajal Chaudhary's performance was a hit and a miss, mostly towards the miss. Because especially in normal scenes, the music, everything, the staging was pulling. The scenes where the acting should shine, I personally felt her performance kind of went flat.
It was underwhelming for sure. Yeah. Viharsh did a really good job as Ram, the son of Vyaas and Bhagi. So he was very, especially in the climax, man. Yeah. The climax is where he shines thoroughly. Otherwise, most of the film I felt like, okay, he is a child artist, he is doing his job,
Correct.
he is getting through his role, all of it. But in the climax, he hits the mark like, wow.
It's not a perfect film. The balance, there are a lot of things that they could have done better. Director Sunny Sanjay could have done better, but still, he definitely achieved hooking audience with the emotional points. Those beats are written beautifully and executed well, and it will definitely hook audience. And by the end of the film, you will not think of all these points, and you will end up having a very nice feeling. At least we personally had. I hope you also get that kind of experience. But I know 90% of the people are relating. If you relate, mention that in the comments below. And what do you think about the movie? Did you watch it? If not, it is on OTT. Do give it a shot. And don't forget to mention your review in the comment section below.
Yes, with that, I am Sanjay Ponnappa.
And this is Maruti Acharya.
And you're watching India Today.